This is Gateway City Sports. This is the Derek King Sports Show. Cardinals, Blues, Mizzou Athletics, Chiefs. He has it covered. The Derek King Sports Show. Only on Gateway City Sports.
Good morning. Struggle with me on this. We're just going to go ahead and get right into this because obviously I am suffering from the same thing that everybody else probably in the known world is suffering from. And that's the wonderful thing called allergies. I have lost, there for a few days, I completely lost my voice. It was kind of funny. It sounded a lot like Mickey Mouse or something like that, just kind of squeaking. But we're going to try to get through this because we got some news. Obviously, what we touched on last couple of shows of the NFL draft, what's been going on with that, and where the kind of the moving pieces have now ended up. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about this morning was that the NFL owners have approved officially now. We've talked about it almost ad nauseum, but they have approved a 17-game season. Now, the way that it's going to work is they're going to take away one preseason game and they're going to add one season game. So there's not regular season. So there's not going to be this, well, we're still going to have 4 preseason games and then we're going to add an additional game to that. That's not what they're doing in this case. They have now officially approved it. Now, that being said, the funny thing about it, with the whole thing in the statement that they had made, was the key word is they said enhance. They're going to enhance the schedule. This comes directly from the NFL website, which I'm going to go ahead and get ready for you guys over here. We're going to get this all set up so that way you guys could see it. But it's the funny word that they used is enhance. So you're gonna find this quite entertaining. So as you guys can see it there, maybe you can see it fully, maybe you can't. I need to get another tile put in here to where you guys can see the whole thing. But what it says right here at the very top says NFL owners voted Tuesday to approve an enhanced schedule, which will feature a 17-game regular season, or 17 regular season games per team, 1 game expansion from the previous 16-game schedule. And so the way that they have it laid out here, with all of these other, with the teams, is how they're going to fall with the 17th game, the opponent for each team. So that's how they have it set up. Interesting that they're doing this now. I know why, and I think that it's pretty easy to ascertain why it is that they're doing this now. I think this was a plan for a long time, but now, since the loss of revenue streams from COVID, and not having anybody in the stadiums during that time period, now they got to make some of that money back because they're going to have full stadiums this year. They've also announced that too as well. So it's going forward. We're starting to see the little building blocks of what they're trying to do. And now, guys and gals, I've talked about this to death. You know that I have. Okay? The NFL is preparing for expansion. If you don't see it and you don't want to hear it or you don't want to acknowledge it, you're ostriching intentionally because you don't want to acknowledge the fact that the NFL is and will expand. They're already heading to that. Now the question remains, who, where, and how? We've talked about London. We've talked about the Mexico City stuff. We've talked about the possibility of Toronto. Don't forget the XFL, all my XFL friends. it's still out there. It's still alive. It's coming back. It's going to exist. How is that going to play into it? How is that going to factor into it? The NFL is heading to expansion. Now, we've in the St. Louis market, in the Midwest market, in that area, we've talked again almost ad nauseum about the NFL lawsuit and what's been going on in St. Louis. The fact of the matter is, the law team in St. Louis has the proverbial lion by the tail. They know what they have. They know, the NFL knows that the city of St. Louis has them theoretically dead to rights. They know they have them. And as you can see, obviously, I'm wearing my St. Louis Stallions hat. I wish they could make, like, somebody would make throwbacks of these in the new, like, 59 50s or something along that line, in a fitted, or 950s even in the snapback. That would be kind of cool. But it irregardless. By the way, one other note I want to add to that is make sure that you keep your eye over on GatewayCitySports.com, because I have another piece that's related to this subject matter that's going to be coming out here this week, probably by Friday. And I will have that out. You guys will really want to read that. It's going to be a fun little piece. You'll really like it a lot. So, getting back to the NFL stuff with the 17th game now being added, the removal of one preseason game, I think that's pretty much a no-brainer. I don't think anybody really liked the preseason. I don't think the players liked it, the risk of injury, all these other different types of things. The fact of the matter is you're just moving. That's where they come up with that name enhancement, that phrase enhancement that the NFL created. They're not changing the schedule. They're not adding a game. They're enhancing it. They're moving one game to another slot. Yes, they're taking away a preseason game, but they're adding one season game. So there's that. Now, coming up real soon, we have the NFL draft. And that's something else that we need to talk about, because the NFL draft now has changed so drastically. Pardon me for my break there, but it's constantly getting updated and what's going to happen round one, round two. I think the overall consensus, everybody is of the understanding Trevor Lawrence is going number one overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's no question about it. I think he's that generational type of talent. Hopefully he does not turn into a Ryan Leaf type of character. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. He should be theoretically a generational type of talent. Now, this updated mock draft is coming from WalterFootball.com that I have pulled up. And there's a million of them out there. All you guys and gals can look at them. You can go over and check them out. But this one's over on WalterFootball.com, this particular one in question. And he is stating, obviously, Trevor Lawrence, number one. Number two, the Jets, Zach Wilson. Kind of surprises me there. I think Zach Wilson's a good quarterback, but I think has a lot of potential upsides. But at number two, that just really doesn't. I don't understand that. Trey Lance, quarterback. Trey Lance is, once again, good, but is he that good? This is the one that surprised me, is Justin Fields. That everybody's trying to put Justin Fields in Atlanta because he's a Georgia guy. He's a Georgia kid. So why is it that they're trying to put Justin Fields in Atlanta? I don't understand. I think Justin Fields, in my personal opinion, I think he's a way better talent. I think he's way closer to being NFL ready. I think that if the Jets pass him at number two, they're making a big mistake. I think Justin Fields is that guy. To have Justin Fields fall to the Atlanta Falcons at number 4 is a stretch. I really think so. I think if the San Francisco 49ers are not picking Justin Fields at number 3, the New York Jets are going to be getting him at number 2. It's that simple. It's that simple. Some of these other ones, I see it, I understand it, I get it. The Cincinnati Bengals totally makes sense that they'd be taking an offensive tackle at number 5. The Dolphins totally makes sense that they'd be, now that they have made it very clear that they are all in on Tua, that they go get him some weapons. And obviously, since the horrible injury last year to Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, that they would get him some offensive tackle protection. Since the Detroit Lions have lost out on their top flight receiver, going to the Giants, he has them at Jamar Chase at number 7 for the Detroit Lions out of LSU. Makes total sense. Mac Jones, that doesn't really surprise me that they take Mac Jones. Carolina Panthers there. But everybody needs to understand this is just for now, okay? I personally feel that there's going to be a lot of deals potentially getting made either the last day or the day of the draft where people are going to be jockeying for position and moving around. There's too many teams that need a quarterback. Next year's quarterback draft class does not look good. Matter of fact, it's pretty bad. It looks pretty awful for next year's draft classes on quarterbacks. This is your year. You want to get a quarterback, now's the time. With the Deshaun Watson whole thing that's been going on, he's embroiled in civil lawsuits. There's, an internal investigation going on with the NFL investigating the situation. It does not look good for Deshaun Watson and what's been going on there with the numerous accusations that's been levied against him. We're not going to get into the particulars of it because there's still a lot of stuff that's out there, a lot of stuff that people don't know. You guys can go check it up. Just Google it, and you guys can find all the information that you want at the end of your fingertips. So that's really kind of where we're looking at, with that top 10, Dallas Cowboys, Patrick Surtain, quarterback. That doesn't surprise me. Denver Broncos linebacker, that does kind of surprise me how badly the Denver Broncos need a top flight quarterback. They really need somebody bad, and it's just not looking good for the Denver Broncos. So we're going to take a real quick break here. We're going to be right back. It's just going to be a few seconds, about 30 seconds, and then we're going to get into the St. Louis Cardinals, baseball Cardinals. We're going to talk about the spring training and going forward and what that's going to look like. So just hang tight real quick. We're going to be right back. See you guys here in a second.
Is the Derek King Sports Show. Cardinals, Blues, Mizzou Athletics, Chiefs. He has it covered. The Derek King Sports Show. Only on Gateway City Sports.
Today, tickets go on sale for Cardinals.
Finally tonight, a word about Matt Carpenter.
This
has the potential to be one of the most awkward endings the Cardinals have ever had.
A moment.
Now, if all of a sudden...
Because I've got a million tabs open in the background, and I apologize for that, because every single news organization that you go to and you try to go to their website and you try to read an article, you're inundated with videos. And if it's not videos, it's audio, and you're just getting slammed every single time. I went into KSDK's website to try to pull up one of their articles, and I got hit with about 3 or 4 different videos all at one time. Boom, 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 boom. So I apologize for that. Before we get into the Cardinal stuff real quick, let's touch over. We got one thing over in the comments I want to talk on the XFL stuff. Will the Thrill, the XFL insider, Will Freeman, he says with one less preseason game, it makes leagues like the XFL more important for players to get more experience. Absolutely. And I know you guys will over talking about this quite a bit over on the XFL STL show. And that is the potential or rumored merger between the CFL, XFL, and everything that continues to go on with that. We're continuing to see what might potentially happen there, and that could be promising, but it could potentially push out the XFL return from this year, next year, maybe even potentially longer. I think that would be a mistake for the XFL to wait that long. I think this year is the year you come back now. Now that the NFL is coming back with full stadiums, you come back. And I think that that's really what needs to be done. But if you can't do it, you can't do it. I've been involved with businesses and startups and other things of that nature, and the fact of how difficult it is to get those wheels turning and to get everything moving. It's extraordinarily hard, and especially when you don't have all hands on deck. You don't have coaches hired. You don't have staff hired. You don't have anything done yet. For them to get this going now at this point in time, it's going to be hard for them to do anything any earlier than 2022. That's just the way it's looking. I'd love it to be this year, but it's just not looking like that's going to be the case. Now, let's get into the Cardinals stuff real quick. The fact of, and we all know my feelings about certain particular players, i.e. Carlos Martinez, i.e. Matt Carpenter, so on and so forth. I love Matt Carpenter to death. He's a great guy. But the bottom has fell out of that boat. It's sad, but it's the facts. And for the Cardinals to continue to keep trying to make something work with that situation because of the contract, it's time to let him go. Okay, cut your losses and just cut him. Use that roster spot for another young kid. Use it for Nagowski to come off the bench. Nagowski's been tearing it up. He's been doing fantastic in spring training. Give that guy who's, 28 years old, 29 years old now at this point? Give him the shot. Get the dead weight off the bench and give him a shot. The salsa has lost its flavor, Will Freeman says. I agree. The salsa has lost its flavor. It's gone stale. It's kind of moldy. Okay? It's time. It's time to cut the cord and move on. We appreciate Matt Carpenter, but as they say in the WWE, we wish you the best in your future endeavors. And that's really what needs to go on. I think the Cardinals have been trying to shop Carlos Martinez to several teams over the last couple of years to no avail. Because of the contract that they have given Carlos Martinez and the amount of money that they're paying him, which is $10 million over what I think they should be paying him. You're kind of stuck. It's the same thing with the Matt Carpenter deal. You were lucky enough to get rid of Dexter Fowler. You still had to eat a large portion of that contract. You got extremely lucky with your negotiations with the Colorado Rockies and managing to land Nolan Arenado, the premier third baseman, I think, outside of Matt Chapman in Major League Baseball. Those two are kind of right here and here. I think Chapman's just got a slight edge on Arenado, just a slight. But for the simple fact of that you managed to get the Colorado Rockies to pick up the amount of salary on his contract that you did is nothing short of amazing. And you only gave up the players that you gave up. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. Slam dunk. Put it in the pail. I am frustrated with the organization and their inability to cut the cord with certain particular players due to legacy, due to involvement, due to whatever. This is a business. It's a business. And we need to start looking at it as such. Stop wasting time and wasting a roster spot on a worn-out, used-up player that is not effective anymore. Let him go. Give him his, okay, yeah, you got your money. You've got your contract. Here you go. We're going to pay you, but we're going to let you go. Use that roster spot. You made a mistake. You're going to eat it. For all my years, and pardon me for a moment, got to wet the whistle. For all of my years, I've made mistakes, financial mistakes. We've all made financial mistakes. We've invested in the wrong opportunity. We bought the wrong vehicle at the wrong time, or whatever the case might be. Bought the wrong house, real estate, whatever. Insert here. The fact of the matter is the Cardinals organization has invested improperly in several players over the last few years. And now they're paying what I call their stupid tax. It's a Dave Ramsey, if you guys know who Dave Ramsey is. It's a stupid tax. Okay, you screwed up, and now you got to pay. Okay, you screwed up, you paid Matt Carpenter the money, now pay the man. It's done. Same thing with Dexter Fowler. You screwed up, you paid him too much money, move on. Now it's time to let those young studs that you've been holding back for the last 3 years because you want to keep them under control and you want to make sure that you're keeping them under arbitration, you're keeping them under renewal status, you're keeping them under whatever the contract. I mean, I get it. It's a business because I would run it the same way. But the time is now. You cannot sit on these players any longer. If you know what you've got, then get it out there. Let them go. Let them play. Let them pitch. Matthew Liberatore, I think he's probably one season in the minors, and then he's going to be up next year. I don't see in any universe where they can continue to hold that kid down. I mean, maybe, but I just don't. Outside of going and managing to land a top-flight pitcher, I don't see how you can hold that kid back to 2023 or 2024. I don't see where the organization has any other options in the matter. So there's that on your St. Louis Cardinals wrap up and where they're at with the roster situation and everything else going into starting the season. Now, the one thing I do want to talk about and touch on is a somber note, but the unfortunate passing of Bobby Plager, who was tragically killed in a car accident on 6440. And everybody who knows St. Louis like we all do, 6440, the corridor between I-44 and I-70 that runs from St. Louis out through Wentzville and out west. It can be a very dangerous stretch. We all know that. And unfortunately, Bobby was killed in a car accident out there this last week. And that was very sad. It was a sad, somber day. I just wanted to announce that. It's not something I care to talk about because Bobby was a great man. And it's just not something that I care to go too deep into. And so we'll just say rest in peace and best wishes to his family, kids, grandkids, so on and so forth. And just wish nothing but the best for everybody. So as far as that's concerned, I'm starting to lose my voice again. So I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap that up. It's been a good 26 minutes we're in, and we've had a pretty good show, but make sure that you stay tuned over at GatewayCitySports.com. Make sure you go over to the Facebook main page and the fan page. Add them both if you can. Request them both. And we're going to keep an eye on everything going forward, and we're going to go ahead and cut it loose right there before I completely lose my voice. So I will talk to you guys hopefully next Wednesday. Hopefully I can talk next Wednesday, and we'll get back with it then. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. Love you. And we'll see you next week.
This is the Derek King Sports Show. Cardinals, Blues, Mizzou Athletics, Chiefs. He has it covered. The Derek King Sports Show. Only on Gateway City Sports.